What's going on, everybody? OGR back, and I have a bunch of friends with me. And obviously, to my left, or
Yep,
right.
got it right.
I think that's right.
Anyway, but I got the hub. Below me, I got Kid Blue. In the bottom right-hand corner, I got Heartstorm Media. What's going on? I'll start off the hub. What's going on, my man?
What is up, OGR? What's up to everybody in the chat, everybody watching? First and foremost, make sure you go over to each of these guys' channel, including the one you watch right now. Sub them up, like them up, share them.
Are in the box below.
All in the description. Make sure you share the stream, actually. And thank you for having me on, OGR. He came, messaged me earlier this week. I was like, why not? It's going to be fun. We obviously got a topic that came up a couple days ago that's going to make it spicy in the beginning. But, yeah, let's move on to the next guy for now.
All right, Heartstorm, you're up.
Well, hey, I was just on OGR. Hopefully, you guys caught that episode we were just on together. And when I say, man, the conversation that we had towards the end of that live stream that went for a record-breaking 2 hours, man, but people are still so engaged. And then the conversation we had afterwards, we might have talked for about an hour afterwards, man. And we just really touched base on some great main things. Maybe some of those things will come up in this chat. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you having me on again and being with this Giants royalty right here and KB in the hub. I appreciate it, man.
Not a problem. And the man of the hour, KB, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, guys? An honor to be with all you guys and first time working with Heartstorm Media, so that's an honor as well. I can't wait to get this going, man.
Oh, and by the way, where's your hamburger? Where's your ketchup? I need to know.
I don't have it this time. Not this time.
Where's the sushi, man?
All right, so really quick, I'm just gonna welcome people to the chat. Age Robert, Harrison Jolly, Karen Bowen for Night, Sabrina, Big Blue Jabroni, Kevin Cronin. What's going on, guys? Welcome. So obviously, maybe you guys saw my response to Clocks today. Maybe you didn't. But he was essentially blaming Gettleman for DeAndre Baker, saying, it's Gettleman's job to vet him. It's Gettleman's job to, make sure. And I was like, coming out of the argument, like, hey, we need to, once in a while, you got to take chances as a GM. You see talent and whatnot. But how do you guys feel about that? How do you feel? Do you guys blame Gettleman for DeAndre Baker? Do you not blame Gettleman for DeAndre Baker? Kid Blue, we'll start with you.
Perfect. And I was just about to say if I could start this, because I feel like the only reason why we people are blaming Dave Gettleman is because the situation turned bad. You see a lot of organizations take chances on players, take risks. You look at the Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys, the New England Patriots. Those are teams that take chances on players that have bad rap sheets, man, have bad character issues, have had issues on and off the football field. And when it works out, nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. And in fact, they praise the scouts. They praise the front office for taking a chance on these players and it actually working out. But as far as the Giants case goes and DeAndre Baker, in this case, it didn't work out right. So that's why everybody is on Dave Gettleman's case. I honestly don't think he should be taking as much flack as he is on this because, you could argue the same thing with Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, for example. So in my opinion, I don't think he should be taking as much flack, but there is a sense of responsibility and accountability you do have to take for taking that risk in the first place and knowing that there is a 50% chance that is not going to work out. So, that type of accountability you have to take, but I don't think his job should be on the line for this at all. That's so far-fetched.
All right. What do you think about it, Heartstorm?
It is one of those things. We rarely reach on questionable character guys. Like you said, we usually let the Cowboys do stuff like that.
Right.
If we didn't trade up to get him, I don't think we're not having this conversation. If he falls to us in the second round and we get him, then it's different. But the fact that we traded up to get him when, I'm pretty sure it was some talk around the league with the execs and things like that of why he was falling. So that is the one ding I'll put on Gettleman. But then again, wouldn't it have been great if we would have took that same chance on Laremy Tunsil? Sometime it works out. A lot of people passed on Tunsil. We got Eli Apple. We could have had Laremy Tunsil if we would have been willing to take that risk at that time. We didn't. So you can't really fault the guy because when you look back, somebody might have been in that room like, man, you remember when we missed out on Laremy Tunsil? You know,
That's a great point. It's a great
you know,
example too. Great example.
hindsight is great, but hindsight is what it is. It's hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. For me, I can blame Gettleman for drafting the guy, sure. And people label me as a Dave Gettleman with defender, even though I try to be a split down the middle.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The reason people label me as a Dave Gettleman defender is because there's actually nobody out here actually talking about the good the dude has done. Like you see 90% of Giants media, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or whatnot, bashing the dude. But I would 100% blame Dave Gettleman for drafting the guy. There's a lot of evidence out there that showed why DeAndre Baker was dropping. And in fact, not just Baker, Greedy Williams as well. These were the top two corners in the class. People do forget that. They both dropped as the offseason went on and as the draft got closer and closer last year because of character concerns. So it wasn't just Baker, it was Williams. They both dropped. And of course, Baker was the first cornerback taken in 2019. Like Heartstorm said, if we did not take him, not even if we just didn't trade up for him, if he wasn't the first cornerback taken in that draft, we wouldn't be having this conversation because you had a guy like Greedy Williams with similar character concerns that evidently did not, lead out to do what Baker did. But here's the thing. While I blame Gettleman for drafting him because I wouldn't say ignore, but because he took a chance on the character concerns, those are character concerns for falling asleep during meetings, which Baker did. Those are not character concerns for dude whipping out a gun and going to rob people. There's no way you can ever predict that. And I'm about to use a really, really dark example that I don't know why, but for some reason my mind connected it to this. You talk about Aaron Hernandez in the 2010 draft, I think, or was it 2009? He had a bunch of character concerns coming out of Florida, right? Coming out of Florida, he had a bunch.
They had to make Tim Tebow his roommate,
exactly,
to get him straight. Yeah,
exactly. He had a bunch of character concerns, and guess what? Nobody could have predicted that he would have gone and did what he did. Those are character concerns for being a bad teammate, which he evidently was. Apparently in the locker room, the dude didn't speak to anybody and whatnot. But you talk about the greatest coach of all time taking a chance on him. So it comes down to the fact that you can't blame Gettleman for what this guy has done. He's a grown adult. He made those decisions himself. The only thing you can blame him for, if you're really looking to blame him for something, because that's just what Giants fans are now. They're looking to blame Gettleman for something. It's straight up they don't like him. Blame him for taking him. That's it.
Yeah. Nerding Out Sports, what's going on? NYG 31 and hi Sabrina again, because why not? But all that being said, though, do you guys think that Baker's gone? I've mentioned it on my video. I think Baker's totally gone. But hey, maybe some of these lies that his lawyer's trying to portray is the truth. It's certainly possible. That's why, there was reports the Giants wanted to cut him yesterday and then even today, and nothing's happened so far. The needle has not moved. What are the Giants waiting for? What are the Giants not waiting for? Hartstorm, we'll start with you.
Let me say this. The fact that he's not cut yet speaks volumes. That's one. I think if Rojas wasn't on the team and we didn't have that thing to deal with, maybe Baker's cut already. Because now it's kind of like, well, does it seem preferential if we cut one and the other one's still on the team presently? If we just had one bad apple, maybe he'd be cut already. But when you look at that report, and I said it in my video, when you look at that report, the people who were allegedly robbed were lying in the first report. Now, were they robbed or not, I don't know. But now when you actually read the text messages, the guy didn't say, I got those dudes that got robbed to say they did. He said, I got those guys that said they got robbed to say that they did. That's a big difference. If he knew for a fact that they were literally robbed, he would say, hey, I got those guys that DeAndre Baker robbed to say that they didn't. This is a closed conversation that he's having with somebody. He doesn't think anybody's ever going to see this conversation. So I looked at that as those guys were losing that bet. They felt like they were being cheated, and they said, I'm not going to pay. Now, if you're in the casino in Vegas and you're losing, and then you try to take your chips back, and they pull a gun on you and tell you to put your chips back down, I don't know if that's a robbery. Now, again, I'm not excusing this, but I'm saying I think it's still a lot more there. And I think that guy Johnson contacted Baker and said, hey, I can make this go away for $55,000. Do you want to do it? Now, if you leverage your $3 or $4 or $5 million contract against $55,000, maybe you take that risk. So it's still a lot of gray area there. And, again, I say, listen, at this point in time, we just don't need distraction anymore. Cut him. And if he's proven to be innocent, let somebody else pick him up. That's what I believe. That could be his punishment for making the mistakes he made. Get him another chance someplace else. But right now, we could cut bait with him. And I'll be happy with that and be fine with the Giants organization doing. I'm pass on.
Pass on to Hub.
Yep.
So Hearthstone brought up a lot of good points there. I'll get to the actual question, I guess, after I address his points. He brought up a lot of good points. The wording is very important. That's very true. Wording is important in every situation. But the one thing I will say is that overall, this is just stupid decision after stupid decision. The fact that you're talking about this on an app that can be tracked by anybody, not just the police, anybody can track those messages. You're talking about a robbery about that. That's a stupid decision. The fact that they caught them on CCTV inside the lawyer's office, where I'm pretty sure it's required to have CCTV in any type of business, let alone
your lawyer has to be.
Exactly. First of all, that lawyer does not have a job anymore if all this is true, right? So it's just stupid decision after stupid decision. So while wording is important, you shouldn't be talking about it on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, bro. I'm not out here trying to give advice on how to cover up your tracks, but you probably should have pagers or something, okay? Something that's not the text, all right? Walkie-talkies or something. I'm not sure. And another point that Hearthstone brought up, talking about more than one bad apples, that's definitely true as well. But even disregarding Baker, the thing with Rosas, which I guess we could get into or not later on, is that he should have been gone long ago because his is a lot more cut and dry, straightforward. It's a lot more straightforward. So that's why I'm not too sure if Rosas really does affect the Baker situation. I think that the Giants are trying to take it as
the Baker situation affects Rosas.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I agree with you. I think it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. You didn't cut Baker. How can you cut this guy?
Exactly. And I think the Giants are just trying to be as fair as – listen, if it was me, you guys saw it in my reaction to that. I was so done with it. I just wanted to cut him. But I got to be fair to him. Nothing has been proven yet, even though it really does look like the dude's going to get cut. The Giants are just trying to be as fair as possible so that they get caught in any type of media storm when all of this blows over.
All right. Before we get to Kid Blue and his response, I just want to say a shout out and welcome to Troxel Sports. My wishes out to you and your family. Obviously, I hope everybody's recovering well because of the accident you were in. So my wishes out to you and your family, my friend. So thank you for coming in. Jay Berman, Afghanistan, oh baby, yeah. Entertainer, stand up. Welcome in.
Stand up.
And all right, Kid Blue, on to you, my friend.
Well, one good point that the Hub mentioned is Aldrick Rosas, and I think before DeAndre Baker's case gets figured out by the Giants, I think Aldrick Rosas' case needs to be figured out by the Giants first, because like you said, that's cut and dry. I mean, I don't understand how Aldrick Rosas hasn't been cut yet. So I don't know if they're just putting this all in the back seat and waiting to see what transpires. But as far as the DeAndre Baker situation, let me get one thing straight, because I didn't read up on his response because his lawyer came out with a response. I glanced at it. I heard what other people said about it. So I'm not 100% sure. But they are not denying that there was a payoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
probably
not
so. I don't know.
So if they're innocent, like they're preaching, why is there a payoff in the first place?
I theorize that. Listen, some people say Trump didn't have an affair with Stormy Daniels. He paid to sweep it under the rug. Sometimes you pay. Listen,
he did it, man.
Again,
he did it.
but sometimes you leverage the risk versus the reward. If I'm worth $50 million, right, and then I may or may not could get caught up in a scandal that can go away with $50,000. Sometimes people just pay people off just for the scandal to go away. So that could be like, listen, you want this to go away? People are blackmailed all the time for stuff that they really didn't do, but maybe they knew about or were involved in, or could just look bad.
I agree. I definitely agree with Hearthstone here. And you guys, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate or anything. What I'm trying to do is get into the mind of this lawyer, that whether or not the payoff was right or wrong is just a stupid decision. But if you're, I guess, thinking about it from his mind, he's thinking these guys just aren't going to let up. They aren't going to give up unless we give them something. So let us give them that something, even though our clients might be innocent. And I see that Brandon Rogers brings up a good point. Not just Baker hasn't been cut yet. Seattle hasn't cut Dunbar yet, the second person in this whole case. If either of them, and I'm not defending them, but I feel like at least Dunbar would have been cut from Seattle because he's somebody that, in my opinion, has way less of an impact on Seattle than Baker does on the Giants.
Yeah. Two of the guys split $5,000.
That, which, by the way, was completely.
Oh God! Don't even get me started on that, man. They got paid to keep the same damn secret, and then one guy gets paid $5,000. He has to split it with the other guy.
Exactly.
What about the guy that got $30,000?
And somebody else,
when you said that in your video, I was dying laughing.
Dude.
When you, I literally,
one thing I will say,
when you said that,
Kid Blue hit the nail on the head, bro. If there's anybody that's snitched, it's the $2,500 people.
Oh yeah. So
it's nothing. So no, I don't know.
But anyway,
man.
so Butcher, I don't know if you saw that because you guys were talking about Kid Blue's point.
I see the
But
comment.
Kid Blue
Oh yeah.
What's Mike Baker talk? What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Butcher?
Oh God. Prison Mike, he also had a comment for you there, Kid Blue.
What do you say? You educate your people in Florida about Corona so we can have football. Trust me,
that's
hey,
a full fact, bro.
I want a football season too, man. My adult flag football league has been pushed back like 3 times already, man. These people need just. I'm trying to play too, man.
Okay.
I just want to see the Black Widow movie in theaters. That's what I want. I mean, I want football.
Yes.
But if the Black Widow movie gets pushed back one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. I feel so bad for ScarJo. But go ahead.
I hear you. So you guys want to go to Aldrich Rojas, or do you actually want to discuss the NFL season if there's going to be one?
Anything.
It's up to you guys. I asked my panel what they want to answer.
I am good with anything. I think that we probably all agree that Rosas should be, cut.
Oh, he should be terminated. That's
Yeah.
the one dude I am just scratching my head why he's on the team right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a
We
really
know-
big question.
We know he's either I don't know if he's going to prison. Most likely
He has multiple felonies on his head right now. DUI, hit and run, and driving with
On a
a
suspended license.
Yeah.
But money does a lot for you.
You're
Money,
right. We talked
even a
about that.
D-list celebrity does a lot for you. So,
We talked about those. I will tell you, money will get you out of most vehicular-related felonies. A vehicular-related felony could be pled down and get you out of jail, especially if you've never been arrested before. If you don't have a criminal record, money will get you out of anything vehicular-related. You can literally have vehicular homicide and get 1 year in jail. So the fact that it was a victimless crime, so to speak, nobody was injured in the crime, those felonies can be dropped down. He won't spend any time in jail. Again, what I said about second chances. Does he deserve his $1 million contract? No. Should he play in the league again? Possibly, yes. But should we cut him? Yes. That's his first initial punishment. Let's get him off the team. Let the NFL suspend him. Let him take some type of counseling. Because, if he has the history of this, there's one problem. But if he made a mistake, whatever he was drinking at 8:30 in the morning or drunk from the night before, I have no idea. Like, I'm drinking now, but it's 8:30 at night. I'm not judging you if you want to get drunk at 8:30. I'm just saying. I don't know.
You need some type of control.
Yeah.
One question I had though about the whole report that went on, it reported that he was going 100 miles an hour, but it couldn't have been he was going 100 miles an hour when he hit somebody because that whole situation would have exploded. I mean, he would have exploded, they would have exploded, everybody would have exploded. He was driving
he side swiped some people, but he probably wasn't going 100 when he hit the car.
Right.
Even then, though, Rosas says his SUV is actually souped up. The dude has like armor on his SUV. He like put on extra stuff.
He would have destroyed something like a train.
So even if he was going, say, like 70, he would have still been. So I'm actually wondering how fast he was going. Sabrina says, I guess regarding the bribery, she's not sure if it's illegal, but she doesn't completely understand. Here's the thing: if it is bribery, that's 100% illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal.
It's
just the bribery alone can send you to jail. So
it's witness tampering.
Right. If the search warrant says there was a payoff, I mean, that's enough right there. It doesn't even matter who got robbed in first. That's just a cherry on top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's an extra jail time, extra crime on top of everything that's already happened.
It's a whole separate indictment.
All right. So, Hart's, I'm kind of answer the Aldrich Rojas thing, but if you guys have anything to say about it, Kid Blue or Hub, whoever wants to go first.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm kind of sad, and this Hearthstone was talking earlier about how he found my reaction funny because I look so defeated with Baker. I'm sad about both the Baker and Rosas situation because these are two dudes I picked to have bounce back years. I made a video about 5 defensive players that are going to have a complete bounce back year, going to look completely different than they did last year. My number 1 defensive player was Baker. And then I made a video specifically just for Aldrich Rosas a couple months ago on why this dude was going to have a bounce back.
You're the problem. So you're the problem.
Don't make a video about me, okay? Don't make a video about me. I don't need that.
I will say this, though. I really did believe at least Rosas was going to bounce back because we signed the Pro Bowl long snapper Casey Crater from the Broncos, and Zach Diassi last year had like his worst career year. So I'm like 100% he's about to go back to the Pro Bowl and be the best kicker again. And then just 1 month later, the whole thing happens.
Kid Blue?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Aldrich Rosas, in my opinion, should be cut. That's definitely a punishment he should take, and it's very disappointing, man. Because I guess you could consider myself an Aldrich Rosas fan because I supported him when the Giants signed him because we needed a kicker at the time. We had just let go of Josh Brown. He was a young kicker.
We should have kept Robbie Gould, man.
Yeah, right. Robbie Gould was doing well. Hindsight's 2020, of course, but we should have kept Robbie Gould, but. As far as Aldrich Rosas goes, he has to go. It is what it is.
All right. So we'll just comment on this real quick because he loves to get my attention. And that is clocks. OGR Sports, Bears, Rooney's are old school, no flawed character. Remember Tunsil in 2016 with marijuana gas mask, supposed to go first pick overall?
Before you respond to that, I just want to say something. I'm not sure exactly how you Clocks intended to use the Tunsil example, but it feels like that backfired because Tunsil turned out to be one of the best left tackles in the league. So I'm not sure if you're saying the Giants made a good decision in passing on him. They made a terrible decision in passing on him. He could have been.
I think he was saying
tackles in the league for the Giants.
Clocks knows his stuff. I think he was saying it backfired on us. I'm pretty sure he meant that because he does. After seeing him in the chat yesterday or the 2 days ago when we were in chat, he knows his stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant.
The reason I thought it backfired is because the video OGR didn't want to Clocks his comment.
Oh, yeah, Clocks.
Yeah.
He's a
Clocks don't like Gettleman, and Clocks is all about the offensive line. So I'm used to it.
Okay, so then I'm not
going to knock the guys for talking about offensive line, but I'm sorry, I cannot talk about offensive line 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, I love my offensive lineman, but don't get me wrong.
In that case,
Clocks
I'm right there with
guys.
Yeah. In that case, I'm right there with Clocks, though, man. I love the offensive line as well.
Oh, yes. We do love our hog mollies. So, obviously, you guys, this is another video I did, and I talked about how with the NFL season, this is going to be really hard and that we might end up getting a revised schedule. Why? Yeah. Because certain states aren't allowing other people from other states to come in because of COVID. Now, there was even rumors – Ralph Acciano brought it up earlier this week. He said, hey, we're going to need a 14-day leeway. If any of these players are coming from any of these 14 named states, they need to report to New Jersey or New York by the 14th. Now New York let out a statement a couple days ago saying, hey, no, we're going to make NFL players exempt. But once the season starts, are we just going to allow NFL players to travel freely throughout the country when certain states like New York are saying, hey, you got to quarantine for 14 days. They can't quarantine if they have a game. So I'm thinking that maybe you get a revised schedule, something like the Big Ten did in the NCAA. What are your thoughts? We'll start with Kid Blue.
I don't know how to assess the situation, man. Everybody's just coming up with their own solutions, and there's always pros and cons to the situation. It's just hard. It's just hard to really figure out. And with such little time, I mean, the NFL season is right around the corner. They need to make a decision pretty quickly. But as far as a revised schedule, I don't know how that would work. What would that entail? What would a revised schedule really entail?
So let's just say you're going to only play the teams in your division, something like that, or maybe you just play if you live in Texas, where
so
you
if you play multiple teams in your division,
if New York play multiple New York teams. I don't know how they would do it. To be honest with you probably don't. But that was just something that I just brought up and thought.
Man,
I will tell you, just listening to what you said right now, I hadn't given this any thought.
Yeah.
Maybe the NFL doesn't play every week. So maybe let's say you cut the season down.
God, I would hate that.
Listen, push come to shove. Let's say, because I think, like I said in our video, OGR, the NFL is going to do whatever it takes to have a season. Say it's 10 games. Say it's 12 games. Say you play every 10 games. Give you every 10 days. You cut out the Thursday night games altogether. Gives you a chance to have a few extra days in monitoring players. Okay, so you have a game on Sunday. Then you have a 4 or 5 day monitoring period where everybody gets a chance to get tested. That gives you a 3 or 4 day window on getting results back. And then you can see who can travel, or if you got to lock something down, clean up something, whatever. I think if the worst case scenario, something like that could happen, the NFL is going to have a season. And I base that on, look, if Disney World can open back up,
which I still think was a stupid decision.
That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at whatever Disney World does. That's how I'm basing the whole like sports concert. If Disney World opens back up and they figure out a way to do it in the safest possible manner, the NFL will piggyback that and we'll have a season.
One thing I want to add before anyone interjects. The NBA is doing something right now, and I'm not talking about the whole meetup at Orlando and play at, because I don't think that's possible for football teams, but they're doing this thing where they're getting tested daily. They want to get tested daily. I mean, I know there are a lot more football players than there are basketball players, but they have to find a way where they can at least get some guys tested every 2 to 3 days or maybe weekly, so that they don't have to quarantine for 14 days because they already have their results. So I mean, I don't know if they want it. Like, what if you get tested before the game, and if you come up with COVID, you can't play? I mean, there has to be a way around that where they don't have to quarantine for 14 days. I mean, we have the technology. The NFL obviously has the money. So, I mean, there has to be something we can do other than, like everybody else has to quarantine for 14 days. I just don't think the NFL can do so much better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The NBA is doing something revolutionary right now. Yeah. I mean, but anything you do involving COVID is fucking revolutionary. It's revolutionary. And I really just look at, the problem with that, if a player tests positive on the team, you don't just say that player can't play and let's go on and play next week.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like if I work in the office and I test positive, my office is shut down until everybody gets tested and cleared.
Right.
So that's the dread. If one player gets COVID during the season, during travel, the season could be suspended.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's scary.
Hub?
Before I get on to it, I guess closing off the clocks thing, I do agree with one of your last comments, Klaus, saying that it's just not the Giants' way to really, with Tunsil taking that risk on him. I do agree with that, which probably needs to change because of what happened, obviously. Now, when it comes to revising the schedule, I think that's kind of a week-to-week thing. I have no idea what's going to happen. I do believe at some point the preseason is going to be scrapped, though, not just because for obvious reasons not related to COVID, but the preseason should be scrapped because they simply don't have enough time to do off-season training right now. And I was surprised that they didn't scrap it once they opened or they plan to open like training camps at the end of this month, July 28th and whatnot. You're talking about giving them less than a month, because preseason starts in mid-August, even though they cut down to 2 weeks. So probably like a month of off-season training. Just scrap the preseason altogether and give them more time to get back and get their bodies into shape. One thing I used to bring up a lot when talking about this topic is players and injuries. I expect a lot more injuries because these players are not working out the same way that they're used to. They're not getting their bodies into shape. They're not doing the regular stretches. Their muscles are tight. They're not going to be used to having that hit because they don't have the same amount of time to get accumulated back to the hits and back to the NFL speed level of play. You're talking about guys the size of refrigerators going at each other at the speed of cheetahs. Take some time to adjust back to that. So I do think the preseason is going to be scrapped. But in terms of revising the schedule, I have no idea. Heartstorm brought up a great point. The NFL is going to do whatever it takes to have a season. If they are going to revise it, I'll say take away the one thing that I hated, the change they made to the season before COVID struck, which was the new playoffs with 7 teams. And it's kind of a weird playoff brackets, how the first seed got all that bye weeks now. I think if they're going to change something, the first thing they should do is change that, because that's extra football right there that you could take off. And it's not like the players aren't used to the old format of the playoffs, because it's still technically the current format of the playoffs. The new 7 seed playoffs haven't taken into effect yet. So if there's one thing they should take away, just go and do that, because that's going to be the easiest thing to adjust to.
Well, one thing, if you do revert back to the old playoff seeding, it really doesn't affect anything, because those playoff games, they're still more like what is it, like 4 more playoff games basically, or 2 more playoff games.
Yeah.
So, but it will be happening on the same days that the other playoff games will be happening. So it's like if you cut those games off, you're still going to have games played that
But you're going to have, if it's 4 more playoff games, that's 4 more stadiums filled. Even if it's, at a certain percentage. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the amount of people that's going to be out.
Right, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, if there's no people out there, we're not having this conversation. If the NFL would just straight up just not allow fans to go there, I don't think we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
But then really quick. First, I would say the biggest thing I think is in jeopardy right now is Thursday Night Football. They've
already be gone. That should already be gone.
I think Monday night should be gone, and we just have games on Sunday.
I don't think it's gonna be no London games. So then you say Thursday Night Football is gonna be gone. But it's easy to say worry about the fans and not having fans there. But then, like, if you're dealing with the NBA, you got to worry about the players too. A lot of the players, somebody just did a video on Buster Posey. And Buster Posey just had 2 premature girls or something like that. So it's kind of like, hey, he opted out of the baseball season. I didn't even know stuff like that was going on. Because I didn't think about it. I don't have my ear to the ground for that now. But I said, wow, you got to think about the players too. It's easy for us to not think about them because so many of them do want to play. But you got to think about their safety too.
No, there's actually a good amount of them that don't want to play, which is why the NFL is starting to implement that whole opt-out situation. Just like how baseball and the NBA right now, they have their whole opt-out situation worked out. I don't know how long the NBA and the NFL and the NFLPA are going to take to actually come to an agreement on how to deal with players opting out. But there are players that want to opt out, and I'm like, 100% do that. Listen, in my opinion, I really do think that there probably shouldn't be a season, just because it's at this point, it's still nobody knows what's going to happen. So if we're going to be 100% truthful right here, the best way would just be to not be a season, but that's just not realistic. So the next best thing in terms of thinking about the players' health would be kind of what Kid Blue said. I don't think it's been realistic to have everyday testing, maybe every week testing, in addition with implementing that opt-out rule, which once again, who knows how long that's going to take to come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to Walmart once a week, you can play football. If you if you can go to Walmart, if you're a player that's telling me you're literally quarantined and you're not going anywhere, I respect that, and I respect your right to stay home. But if you can go to Walmart every week, if you can go to the club every now and then, and
people are still going out. People are still going out and about, and you tell me you can't show up to play.
That's why I like the opt-out rule though, because that means the players are saying, all right, I can do this if they get it done.
Yeah.
Right, so then it will be on the players.
So what I want to know for myself is I had to work during the entire height of the pandemic in Connecticut and the entire height of the pandemic around the country. Where is my opt-out clause going to work?
Yeah, where's mine too? I'm an essential worker. I have to work.
If I'm an essential worker, I'm pretty sure an NFL player can be an essential worker. And what I'm saying is, you know what? At the end of the day, you guys are healthy. You guys, for the most part, it's going to be mild symptoms for them. If you look at the statistics,
what Zeke brought up,
it was almost non-existent on even serious. Not even
OGR. Well, what Zeke brought up, and Ezekiel Elliott was one of the outspoken players about saying he doesn't believe there should be a season, is he's not thinking about himself. So he brought up the same points you brought up, that he actually suffered from it. He's like, it wasn't that bad for him. He's young. He's obviously healthy physically, and he's healthy with his immune system. He was like, he's worried for his older relatives, his parents, his grandparents, even. That's what he's worried about. He doesn't really care about how it affects himself.
Well, stay away from him.
That's why I'm saying the opt-out rule needs to get in here. That's why I want the opt-out rule to get in, because if the opt-out rule gets in and you opt in to play the season, you can't blame anybody. That's your decision.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Here's the thing about the opt-out rule. Do they not get paid?
That's why they're still working on it. Nobody knows.
Because I know they're meeting on Monday about all these issues.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to have more, obviously ESPN and all these other stores, they're going to leak more shit during the day. But, excuse my French. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I really just don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think they're going to take. Does anybody know what the NBA's stance on the salary is for players that opt out? I think they're going to model it after that.
I didn't look into it, so I don't know. But they're already on an abbreviated, shortened season, so I don't know have they been getting paid or not. I haven't looked into it, but yeah, that's huge because that causes dissension if you have guys that opt in and guys that opted out are getting still their game checks every week. So now they have
That's
to
actually
figure
an
that
interesting
out.
question. What do you guys think should happen? Should they get like half salary? Should their salary be frozen so that when they come back it unfreezes? What do you think should happen?
Well, one thing is that if you give the players too much, and this sounds like I'm being a bad person, but if you give the players too much of a percentage, they're all going to opt out because they're going to say, well, I'll just take the money and not play and have a free season. I mean, if you give them, I don't know, 50% and over, some guys might say, screw it, I'll stay home and take my 50%.
Maybe, to me, I'm going to be honest, 30% sounds fair. Opting out and getting 30% of your salary, that sounds fair to me because that's at their range, that's livable. Now, I don't want to put myself in their pocket, but if listen, if you got a $10 million contract, let's say reasonably what most NFL players got. Say you're getting $1 million a year. Can you survive off $300,000 for that year?
Hell yeah, I can.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can survive
and that's without them actually investing into anything and any type of local sponsorships that they have.
So can you survive off $300,000 in that year? Feasibly, I think you can. Now, the average American, could we survive off 30% of our salaries? No, we couldn't. But these are not the average American. And I think that's reasonable. So if you're a $5 million a year guy and you're getting 30% of that just to go, to sit at home for a year, I think that's feasible. I think that's a respectable.
I agree. What it comes down to, though, is the same thing with what it came down to with the new I forgot what it's called. The new thing that just passed that lasts for 10 years. What's it called again? Like the agreement in terms of
CBA.
The CBA, collective bargaining agreement.
The same thing that decided the new CBA. It's the guys up top that are not going to like it. The guys that are earning hundreds of millions of dollars, but they still want to earn more. They're the ones that might cause a problem with this because the guys that are earning because the new CBA, if you go back to that, it benefits the dudes that are like the last person on the roster. It doesn't benefit the dudes that are getting paid tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. I think the problem is going to come in with the guys that live a certain lifestyle. And this might sound bad, but when you live a certain lifestyle, you need a certain amount of money to continue to work that comfortably. They're the ones that are going to be affected, and they're the ones that probably might cause problems for this, which is completely unfair to dudes that are like you said, most NFL players are only earning like
they're definitely going to speak out, and since they're the bigger names, they're bigger voices, they're going to ruin everything for everybody else.
For the question in the chat, I know OGR, you've been reading the chat. I can see your face. Met Charian asked a good question. He said, "What about against the team salary cap?" That's
okay.
The NFL is after us. The NFL is after us.
I have no idea.
Okay, so
phone die or something.
What about
phone probably died.
What about against the team salary cap? Will they be able to go and sign someone else?
That's possible. I mean
he's back. He's back, guys. He's back.
What's up? Your phone died, bro?
Yeah, I think you guys are gonna lose me in a second. My phone is on like 0. If I get to a charger, man. First, I just want to say really quick, thank you so much for having me on OGR. I'm glad I was able to stay with you for more than the 30 minutes, and appreciate you guys. Keep the chat going, and hopefully I chime back in.
All right, man. Looking forward to it.
All right.
So.
In terms of that question, I mean, there would have to be players that are even available to sign. I mean, if we think about the waiver market this season, is there really even going to be anybody available on waivers?
But here's the thing.
Actually, somebody asked about Logan Ryan. If you guys want to chime in on that.
No, when I say waivers, I'm talking about like during the season waiver market.
I'm sure the waiver market would still be there.
Okay.
But the thing is, remember, it's not just about the salary cap. It's about the capacity of players you're allowed to have in your team. Since those players are basically still on payroll, they're still going to be part of that roster. So how would that work? They're still going to be getting paid, so they'll still take up that a piece of that 55-man roster. How are you going to be able to sign other players, bring them in, and have more players on the payroll? That's just more players to pay. I mean, that's a predicament that the NFLPA and the NFL have to discuss.
Well, I mean, if you're opting out, they're not going to give you your full salary. That's
Right.
ridiculous. And if they
Right.
do, obviously the whole players will be like, "Hey, peace, bye."
Right.
But no, whatever, it's going to be a part of. Like the NBA, I know if players opt out, they have to play an additional year for that team on their contract.
Okay.
So that's like almost like a punishment.
right.
'Cause now you're pushing up free agency one more year. So a team gets out of you for one more year. So especially if you're a rookie, then that's not good for you, especially if you're like, I don't know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Jason Tatum decided to opt out. Celtics be like, "Hey, go ahead, bye. We get you for one more year."
Love it. Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
man. But
Fox has a
is there
pretty
any,
good question in there.
any other things you guys want to bring up? Because at this point, I'll just shift it and just allow these guys to ask questions.
I mean, I'm trying to think of anything. I mean, unless you guys want to talk about Pat Mahomes' contract and quarterback contracts moving forward or something.
Honestly, I mean, both of you guys have weighed in on it, and I really don't care.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
I mean,
Fair
Pat Mahomes, he signed a good contract, and for him, and it's good. It's both good for him and good for the team. As long as he's playing at a high level, they'll keep him. The minute he drops off, they'll cut him before March.
And Klotz actually has a pretty good question related to that. He asked Hart the other day, do I take Mahomes at $50 million a year with an average offensive line? Do I take Larry Allen, Quentin Nelson, Anthony Munoz at $17 million
Yeah.
with an average? Okay, so first of all, an average QB is not Trent Dilfer. I don't think Trent Dilfer is the average QB. Well, what's like an actual – you talking about average starting quarterback or average overall quarterback?
Andy Dalton to me is an average starting quarterback.
Yeah, like Andy Dalton is an average starting quarterback.
Yeah,
If we're talking average starting quarterback.
Alex Smith, Andy Dalton.
So if we're talking that type of average quarterback, then I'll take the second option. If we're talking average quarterback overall, going down to even backups, then Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson would be average quarterbacks. I won't take that because even though the NFL is completely 100%, football is completely 100% team sport. The NFL is completely 100% a quarterback sport. And it's been showed at least the past couple of years more so than any. But if we're talking like Andy Dalton, I'm taking the second option, no doubt.
Sure. Kid Blue?
What do you ask? If I would take Mahomes with an average offensive line, or let's say a great offensive line, 17 mil each, and an average quarterback. Man, that's hard one because if you look at the Chiefs right now, they have a $50 million quarterback and an average offensive line,
and they just
won a Super Bowl. So I'd probably take Patrick Mahomes. Why is that? Well, because you can build the offensive line in the draft.
You just swap out pieces like every 4 years or something.
Exactly. You can just swap out the pieces. I'd probably take the first option. I love offensive linemen, but
Brooklyn Hit Squad in the house. What's going on?
What about you, OGR? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts?
On the question, yes.
I don't know. I've always when you're talking about guys like Anthony Munoz, Larry Allen, you're talking about Hall of Famers. So can I have a Hall of Fame offensive line? Well, that's exactly what the Cowboys had with Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was an average QB. His numbers say as such. And he had a Hall of Fame running back, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, a very good tight end in Jay Novacek, and a very good a Hall of Fame fullback. If I can get that caliber team, of course I'm going to take the average quarterback. I don't have to pay him nearly the amount of money I would have to pay Patrick Mahomes. So it gives me a chance to reload this team and address the defense where, let's face it, at some point here, the cap's not going to go up next year. The cap even might go down, even with the things that they're trying to supplement in. So
if the cap doesn't go down next year, it's going down the year after for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're trying to level it out. It might level out for 2-3 years.
That's
guys are looking for a big contract like Jadeveon Clowney, Leonard Williams. Sorry, you're not getting it. Yannick Ngakoue, I hope you like playing for the Jaguars.
Bro,
the biggest deal you're going to sign is
the Chiefs. One thing I'm telling you right now, the Chiefs are screwed.
Bro, right now they have Chris Jones on the franchise tag, and they want you need to extend him. Chris Jones is a top 5 defensive tackle. You talk about 31 sacks in the past 2 years and whatnot. You need to extend that dude, but they have him on the franchise tag because God knows how the Mahomes contracts not only affects them this
They
year,
can't
but
afford it.
in the future. They can't afford Chris Jones right now.
Chris Jones $20+ million.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro. I'll take Chris Jones
Yep.
all day.
Bro, my last video was literally players I would trade for right now. I was like, Chris Jones is on the franchise tag, and he's way better than Leonard Williams, who's on the same franchise tag right now.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. I cannot believe we signed that dude. Oh God!
For a second, Chris Jones, who had 31 sacks in the past 2 seasons, is on the same franchise tag that Leonard Williams is, who had half a sack this past season.
This is my thing. I've made videos about this, about Leonard Williams, ranting on Leonard Williams, and I just can't get behind the fact that there are actual subscribers and fans out there talking about how this is a good deal and give Leonard Williams a chance. You're not understanding the severity of the situation. There is a terrible, he's not terrible, he's just, let's just say a bust for the most part. A 6th overall pick with the
he's an above average player. Average, above average.
For crying out loud, he's a USC player. What do you expect? So Leonard Williams is getting 16.1 million. Mind you, he wanted to get paid as a defensive end. He wanted to get paid more. How does that even happen? But anyway, we're paying this guy $16.1 million, the same exact money that this beast Chris Jones is getting paid.
And think about it.
There's tragedy, man.
There's people that think Chris Jones didn't deserve to be on the defensive end franchise tag, which is why he's on the defensive tackle franchise.
He's not a defensive end. He's a defensive.
He played.
tackle.
He's a defensive.
But he's a
all day.
Yeah,
all day.
But remember, 3-4 defensive end is 3 technique defensive tackle. There's no difference. Let's just
I know. I will say this though. I will say this. This year he was defense tackle because of the Spagnuolo defense. I think the year before he was a defensive end.
Yeah, no, but he never lined up on the tackle. He never lined it. 3 defensive end in the 3-4 is defensive tackle. I mean, you just look at it. It's a defensive.
It's still interior. It's still interior.
Right. It's still. He's still.
You gotta have that 5 technique. Come on.
The point
He
I was
didn't play 5.
This is why that doesn't matter though, because the point I was trying to bring up is that he wanted to be on the defensive end tag, and people were arguing against that. Leonard Williams is having the same argument as if he's worth what Chris Jones is worth. That's the point I was trying to make, though.
He wants to get signed, but remember, he had that half sack on the Jets. He wants to get signed.
He had it on the Giants.
He had the Giants. He had it on the Giants. I don't even care. He had a half sack the whole freaking year. 16 games, all 16 games, was not hurt.
He should have had, bro.
You wanted a long contract.
You guys, this is what I can't stand right here.
Yeah.
Stop acting like defensive ends 3-4 defensive ends and defensive tackles are these sack artists. Do you know what the base defense in a 3-4 is?
Here's the OGR.
Right, exactly.
We need them to be
OGR. Remember, OGR.
We don't need them to be sack artists. But
let's
we're
get something
comparing
straight here,
the extreme here because Leonard Williams wants the extreme, and we're bringing up an example of the extreme.
Okay. That's
not
what
extreme.
Let's get something straight.
Well, he needs to get some sacks because that's where the NFL is moving.
Hold on. Leonard Williams, coming out of college, what was he? He was an interior pass rusher. This guy got sacks all day at USC. That's his specialty. Okay, if Damon Harrison was on a franchise tag with 0 sacks, I don't care. Damon Harrison is one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. The fact is, Leonard Williams set in his specialty, his best trait is being a force on the inside of getting sacks and pass rushing. If you can't do that, because he's not a fantastic run stuffer, he's great. He's not his specialty. His specialty is supposed to be pass rushing. If you can't do that, you're not getting $60 million. I know sacks aren't everything, but you got to get more than a half sack for me to pay.
Like flies here.
Exactly. No. Kid Blue brings up a great point. That is his specialty, and the fact is that there are players like that. If that's what we bring you on for, you're supposed to do that. But even less.
I'm a pressure guy. As long as you're getting pressure and disrupting, I'm fine.
He's not getting pressure.
No, he's getting pressure.
He's definitely getting pressure.
He made a difference. I'll give you an example. He made a difference. Leonard Williams did make a difference as far as the pressure goes. But let's remember a man who was on this team not too long ago, and that's Olivier Vernon. He forced a lot of pressures, but he constantly had 6 sacks a year, getting paid $17 million a year. Nobody was for that. He got a lot of pressure. Don't get me wrong. He was up there.
8, according to Pro Football Reference, had 8 quarterback hurries last year.
No, but
that's hurries.
What about hurries and pressures? Hurries and pressures.
He had 17.
Yeah, that's not
pressures
great.
and hurries. I mean, does a hurries count into the pressures, or are they calling? calling it hurt.
They have it on two separate things. I'm just reading off their chart.
Well, I don't know. That's not a very good. I don't know. That's not a good statistic because
You were just defending the statistic.
No. I know I'm defending. No, I'm saying he's not putting up a good statistic. He's not putting up a good case for a good contract because
I know he's
Marcus Golden had like almost 40 pressures. So,
which, by the way, brings into why I firmly believe Golden is not just a scheme guy because of what you just brought up. There's stuff that backs up the fact that he's not a scheme guy. You don't get 40
pressures. I mean, I don't mean to really interject, but he's more of a guy that's a workhorse. Like, how many times did he beat somebody clean off the edge and get that strip sack? No, it was, our corners were covering halfway decent for a little bit, and he was all like, he kept working, finally beat his guy and got the sack.
I agree with that 100%.
I agree.
He's still way better than everybody else on the team right now if he comes back.
One thing that
Kyra Fackrell, don't be putting Kyra Fackrell.
I will have to see what Fackrell does, but excluding Fackrell,
that was a little bit of tongue in cheek.
Let's remember something too. I know we just talked about pressures, how pressures really count and sacks are and everything. Marcus Golden had almost 40 pressures. If you watch him on film, yes, you're right, OGR. He never beat someone cleanly off the edge. He always had to work for it. But if you look at games, I'll point to example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. That's one of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game is probably one of the best games the Giants played throughout the whole season, as far as a whole team goes. Marcus Golden, he had 2 sacks that game, but he could have easily had 5 sacks. Watching him on film, I remember this one play in particular where he was rushing on the edge. Jameis Winston looked like he wanted to go up the middle, and Marcus Golden stunts inside, scares Jameis Winston out the pocket, and O'Shane Ximines then cleans up the sack. That's how much of an impact that Marcus Golden made last year, and I think those inexperienced guys like Lorenzo Carter, he's still inexperienced as much as I don't want to say because it's his 3rd year, but he's still inexperienced. O'Shane Ximines, they need somebody like Marcus Golden, in my opinion, on the edge to force some pressure. Maybe he won't get the clean sacks off the edge, but he's going to force some pressure. He's smart. One thing I will tell you, watching Marcus Golden on film, he's extremely smart. He doesn't always get there. He's very so close but so far. But getting this guy for a potentially $4 million,
that's a steal.
It's a steal.
And that just leads me to my next point, because you might as well just ramble into it, Kid Blue.
Yeah.
Is he signing the 25th? Because it sure as hell looks like it.
Hell yeah.
Right, there's nobody.
31 teams are stupid not to grab Marcus Golden for $4 million.
You know what's sad? It's not even his fault. It's all Jadeveon Clowney's fault. No other pass rusher is going to sign until
and Everson Griffin. Because I think teams
exactly.
Everson over.
Griffin is not going to sign until Clowney signs. It's all Clowney's fault. I really, it stumped. I think it stumped me and it stumped everybody for a while. Because like KB said, the 31 other teams are stupid to not take him. All right. The facts are all there. We could get into it. He would be a good pass rusher to have on your team, and they're not taking him for what he would probably sign for $8 million somewhere else because he might have gone desperate. But it's all Clowney's fault. Like I'm thinking to myself, it's literally just because this guy is still on the market, and they're gonna wait for him to fall.
Why? I get he has injury issues. I'm the biggest critic of Jadeveon Clowney, especially when he came out in that 2014 draft. I mean, this guy had injury issues, inconsistency. I still don't understand why he's not signed. I mean, at $8 million, even with the injuries and inconsistency issues, I'd still take it for $8 million. And
100%.
people,
here's the thing with the injury too, right?
Are like interested, except the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's a real thing. I know Philly 500 and all these guys like to say, "Oh, he's going to Philadelphia." I think it's an actual thing, and I'll be pissed off.
Marcus Golden to Philadelphia, I would cry.
Now Marcus Golden, Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh yeah, I would cry about that too. But one thing you did bring up with the injuries, I 100% agree. And this is kind of arguing in Golden's favor. He had the ACL tear in 2017. For any sport, any athlete in any sport, it takes you about 2 years to recover. His second year of recovery was 2019 when he had the 10 sacks. It just so happened to be that second year he was with Besher once again. I think people might have overlooked that a little bit. The fact that he was coming off an injury that takes you about 2 years to recover, and he did get back to form, his form being the 2016 one. I think there was just a lot of things that lined up that make people overlook the actual production that this guy brings.
All right, Anthony DeBlasio, rewinding a little bit, but do you guys think cutting Jenkins was a bad idea now that Baker could be potentially cut?
Nah, that was all right. Jenkins was going to be off the team anyway.
Well, one thing I would say is
Jenkins wasn't worth the contract he had.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, on top of that, we wouldn't have gotten James Bradberry if we had Janoris Jenkins. If we had Janoris Jenkins, we're not going to sign James Bradberry for $15.1 million when we have Janoris Jenkins on a $14 million contract. That ain't just happening. The Giants ain't going to do that.
And
so
I think we'd all agree that
yeah,
Bradbury is better than Jenkins at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So I 100% not even looking back on that. Screw Jenkins. I'd take James Bradbury for 15.
I will say this though, the way he got released, I still don't agree with it, but he would have been released anyway. So at the end of the day, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Nerding Out Sports says, "What is the official deadline for Golden? I've heard it was pushed back to the 22nd to the 28th."
I don't know if it was actually pushed back. I know the date that I've had in my mind for about a couple months now was the 22nd. Maybe it was pushed back. Who knows? I'm trying to find anything online.
Either way, he's a giant. He's going to be a giant, and I'm excited to bring him back because there's no way in hell I'm relying my edge rushers to be Kyler Fackrell and Lorenzo Carter for
Here's
crying
the thing,
out loud.
though. I 100%
Why are you putting Lorenzo Carter over O'Shane? O'Shane
was great, but for whatever reason, Lorenzo Carter was getting the most of the snaps. I don't know what it was, but Lorenzo
I will
Carter
say this, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I think Lorenzo is still better than O'Shane. Lorenzo is still, in my opinion, he's still better than O'Shane.
I think if you
think O'Shane is more
Lorenzo's a better all-around outside linebacker as far as he can cover as well. If you want to say it that way, but as far as I think O'Shane's a better pass rusher at this point, and I think O'Shane's a little bit bigger and he can play the run better than Lorenzo.
O'Shane definitely plays the run better, but I think Lorenzo is still a better pass rusher. But you got to look at the numbers he put up on the snaps that he put up and the percentage of the defense that he played. And he still listen. It's still 100%. It makes no sense how the dude had the rookie year he had and then have basically the same year in his sophomore year, which could happen with O'Shane. A lot of people are overlooking that. O'Shane and Lorenzo had basically the same rookie year, and Lorenzo played a lot less in his rookie year than O'Shane did in his. So I'll give you that. But based on the amount of the amount of defensive snaps he played to the production, and you compare it to O'Shane, he's still doing better, which is, as of right now, I'm saying he's a better pass rusher. It could change this season, but I still have more faith in Lorenzo Carter than I do O'Shane Ximines.
Guys, don't worry. We have Carter Coughlin. He was the highest graded pass rusher in all of college football last year, even better than the number one overall or second overall.
Do you guys remember when like a lot of the Giants fans were getting in love with that dude out of the small time school with the yellow and green uniforms?
Oh, this guy. And
I was like, why is everybody getting in love with Tuska? I was like, why is everybody getting in love with Tuska? This dude is going to be a 7th round pick, and then he almost goes undrafted. I never got why people got infatuated with him.
Well, because I think he was a sleeper. He's a guy that everyone knew would fall, and he'd be like a late round gem. I think that's what it was. And Carter Coughlin was one of those guys too. Carter Coughlin was a guy before the draft that said, "Hey, you could pick him up in the 6th or 7th round." We wound up doing that, so I'm excited. But I just don't think any. I like Lorenzo Carter. I like O'Shane Ximines. I guess I like Kyler Fackrell. I like Carter Coughlin. Do I think these guys are going to be productive? Sorry,
no.
At least I don't think anybody. I don't think any of the edge rushers.
These guys' production is only gonna take the Giants as far as it can. You need what we need, and Devlin has said it 1,000 times: is you need the puppies to develop. If the puppies don't develop, the Giants will sink. If the puppies develop to where we think they can be, then maybe we have a realistic shot of being a 9-7, 10-16.
We're looking at you, Lorenzo. We're looking at you. We're still waiting.
Thanks, bro. I'm waiting for that breakout here. But yo, you guys think that if the Giants knew Golden was gonna last this long? Because I think that the Giants expected Golden to be picked up, and that's why they signed Fackrell. I think if they knew he wasn't gonna get picked up, we wouldn't have signed Fackrell. But that's just me. What do you guys think about that?
That's a good observation, because I think the I cannot believe the Giants didn't get a pass. I know there wasn't a lot of pass rushers on the board, but the best we can come up with is Kyler Fackrell, for crying out loud, on top of all the other average talent that we have. That's a good observation. I hope that's what they were thinking, because it would have worked out, because we'll get Marcus Golden back, and maybe the starting guys you'll see is Marcus Golden and Kyler Fackrell. I think I'm sorry, this sounds so stupid to say, but Kyler Fackrell's our best edge rusher right now.
He is. No, it's not stupid to say he is our best edge rusher now.
That's
proven.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, what were you going to do instead? Okay, so
right.
Okay, put it this way. Okay, let's say we don't sign. Let's say we pick any pass rusher that signed this offseason. A big time pass rusher.
Which big time pass rusher did sign this offseason? Were there any big? Yeah, none.
But here's the thing.
All right,
Jadeveon Clowney is still there.
Over Bradbury.
What happened?
Let's say we just picked up Jadeveon Clowney over Brad.
No,
Pitt.
I'm
I
not doing that.
I'm
No,
not
I'm not
doing
doing
that
that.
No, but I'm just using this example.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we picked up Jadeveon Clowney over Bradbury. What is the discussion we'd be having right now?
Who are our cornerbacks?
Exactly. You're not going to fix all
Yo,
those.
speaking of which,
That is
speaking
team
of
bad
which,
as the Giants.
guys, we should just give up on drafting cornerbacks. Just sign a cornerback every 3 years at this point. Yo, we just have such bad luck this decade with drafting cornerbacks. It's
I
crazy.
know Eli Apple and this guy, freaking whatever her name is, DeAndre Baker.
I
Oh
didn't ask
God.
you guys this before we get to Clock's question. How long did you guys want to go? I was thinking about an hour and a half, but if you guys want to go less, more, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Whenever we run
we'll
out of
see what happens.
talk about.
All right. So I'll tentatively put it for 9:30, but if you guys want to go longer, we'll see. Guys, question for all of you. You're all GMs. Everything else is equal. Are you giving a QB?
Wait, what do you mean by everything else is equal?
So I
No, we're all given, I guess, equal say in things.
yeah.
Everything else being equal. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, are you giving a quarterback 25 to 30%?
I'm not giving a quarterback more than 15% of the cap.
Wow. I was
Well,
going to go
let's-
at least 18.
Let's throw the calculator up because let's say the average cap space for a team is
like
what
million,
almost
Just
200
go
million.
flat 200 million because it's like
Yeah,
198.
it's like
Let's go flat
198.
200
So let's do the math here because I'm not good at math. Everybody knows.
So
that.
you're giving them, if it's 25, that's like what? That's 60 mil, 25, right? That's like 60 mil out of the 200 million. I could be wrong. 25%.
25%. So that is no. Whoa. Okay. So 200 million. 25% of 200 million. I can't believe I didn't do this in my head, but that's
50 million.
Yeah.
50. Okay, I was off.
It's 50 million.
So that's a hell no. And even the 30 is a way hell no.
That's what I'm saying, bro. More than 15. I'm not giving them above 15%.
Yeah,
of the
not
cap.
doing that. Not doing that.
And that's just off of history. No quarterback that's ever gotten more than 15% of the cap has ever won the Super Bowl.
And here's the thing. I made this point when I did the podcast with the Hub, and we talked about the salary cap and how the value of the quarterback is raising at an exponential rate. I mean, it's skyrocketing, but the salary cap is not keeping up. The salary cap is raising up a couple $1 million a year, and yet the value of the quarterback is getting to like 25% of the cap now, almost 25% of the cap now. There's no way.
Probably at 18, so you're probably looking at 2021 next year.
Right, exactly. So the salary would have to keep that same ratio. The salary would have to double to 400 million for it to keep up with the exponential rate that the quarterback value is getting to. So if you ask me, there is no quarterback in the world right now at this salary cap right now, maybe push up to 210 million, right? I'm not signing nobody for $50 million. Even Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, it's not happening. I got to make sure everybody else, gets paid because I want to build a dynasty. I don't want to build a one-man team. This is football.
And that brings me up to another point. And I don't think anybody's ever asked this question on any of the Giants roundtables we've done, maybe you guys have done in your collabs, but do you think with the way that everybody claims this 5 years, you have 5 years. Once you draft your quarterback, you have 5 years. Do you think it's viable to build a dynasty in this salary cap era where we are right now?
Nah, you have to have so many things go right before you even get the quarterback that it's crazy. There's too many variables that you need to have in place already. Yeah, and then there's other variables you need to get because you need to have an offensive line already established when you draft that quarterback. You need to have a defense at least halfway there when you draft the quarterback. And then after you get the quarterback, that's when you surround them with weapons. A lot of people think you get the weapons beforehand. No, you need weapons that mesh with him well. So there's a lot of variables that go into it. And there's only been few teams, but because those few teams have actually had somewhat success, that it's become like a popular method or at least a popular method to talk about. But you realistically think about it, there's only one team that's successful with it. That was the Chiefs. There's teams that's tried with it, but there's just way too much that goes into having to be established beforehand for that to be a viable method. But the reason it's become a viable method is because the whole quarterback cap situation we've been talking about, because they're on cheap or not cheap. They're on
considering
they're getting paid like 20
18.
Yeah, so it's like they're on fair contracts with their rookie contracts.
Right. And to answer I'll get to that point just to answer Jay Berman's question. The thing is, the big difference between the Patriots and the Giants, Jay, is that the Giants have a disgusting secondary and can't stop a nosebleed. So that's all I'll say.
Whoa. It's going to be improved, though. I mean, that's a given.
Listen, if
The
Baker was
safety,
still on the
sure.
team, I would say it's gonna be improved.
The safety, sure. I have no hope in our freaking corners. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love our corners.
You
I
have
think
no hope in Bradbury, a guy that
no, Bradbury is one corner. You need 3 or 4 to have a good cornerback.
We got Grant Haley, bro. What are you?
Let me tell you the people in the
You're saying that because you like Penn State, okay?
let me tell you the people in the secondary I actually have faith in: Jabril, McKinney, and Bradbury. I would love for Darnay Holmes to. I've been saying for
I like
Darnay
Darnay.
Holmes to
I like
develop.
Darnay.
We need
But that's all potential. We have no idea.
Yeah,
if it's actually
potential.
gonna be.
It's not set in stone yet. But to get back on topic, it's virtually. I mean, some teams have done it, right? Some teams have done it, but actually, I don't think any team has done it to start from drafting your quarterback and having 5 years to win a championship. I don't think any team has done it. You can't.
Only the Chiefs, right?
No, you can't look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs were already good before Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs were already making the playoffs before Patrick Mahomes. They already had a really good roster before Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill was on the team.
Well, I think that's kind of the point I was trying to make. I guess you already need an established O-line and a high defense.
Exactly. No team really had a 5-year window as soon as they drafted their quarterback to win a championship. It just doesn't happen now. Automatically, you're put on that impossible task. Why? Because of like the crazy value of quarterbacks. Teams feel like they need to win a championship now, so they they possibly don't have to pay their quarterback, or if they do pay him, whatever the case. But I just don't. It's not possible. It's just not. You can't take five years to then draft the quarterback, build a team up, and then win a championship. It's just not enough time to do.
All right. So I hear you. So, well, here's another thing. Well, actually, quick. Did you guys want to make that announcement? We were talking about before.
Oh, yeah, Coach, you could say it.
Okay, I'll do the honors then. For everybody here in the chat, and first of all, big shout out to Jesse Bryan, who's a supporter of a lot of the Giants YouTubers. This would not have happened without Jesse Bryan, one of my subscribers. That it's funny. What was it? Last Tuesday, right? It happened. Last Tuesday, I did 2 streams, and Jesse Bryan was in both of them. He was like, "Yo, you need to go check out Oluwole Batiku, who is an undrafted free agent linebacker for the Giants. He has a YouTube channel. Go check it out." I went and checked it out. Kid Blue went and checked it out. We're like, "Yeah, let's get him on the podcast." Took a while. I was on Oluwole's Twitter account for about 3 days straight, tagging him and just commenting on every post before he finally responded to me. But he did. And so on this, it's going to be Wednesday, actually, episode of the Young Guns podcast, we will be having the undrafted free agent linebacker for the New York Giants, Oluwole Batiku, on the show. We're going to be talking football. He said he's okay with it. We're even going to be talking what he's been doing in quarantine, and just to try and get to know him better for both us and for the Giants fans. You know, who knows? Maybe he's the next great undrafted free agent player or a great linebacker for the Giants.
I mean, this is a guy I'm going to be rooting for now in the there's no preseason. I'm just going to be rooting for him in camp to make the team.
Hey, maybe
I had to keep that. Why do we always have the weirdest name dudes that we root for?
That's one of the things I said, bro. He's joining the group of Matthias Kiwanuka, OC Umenyiora, and Prince Amukamura.
But anyway, so that's somebody I'm going to root for. That's going to be real interesting. And then I have a real quick announcement. So tomorrow I'll be live with my man, The Sports Reaction, for the bi-weekly show, The Big Blue Breakdown. So come by and check it out, guys. So I'm at a loss for words. No. So do you guys, you know what? I look, this is a fun question. I think we're all going to have the same answer or right around the same answer. Rank me the quarterbacks in the NFC East from best to obviously worst.
Kid Blue, you start off, bro.
You can start.
Kid Blue, your mic is muted, bro.
My bad. Sorry. If you guys hear a vacuum, I apologize. But let's see. I'm gonna be completely realistic here, and I'll put my biasness aside. And so I'll say number 1, because of availability, I'm probably gonna take Dak Prescott. I would love to take Carson Wentz. I'm a huge fan of Carson Wentz. Although he's an Eagle, I forgive him for that. But huge fan of Carson Wentz. It's just that his availability isn't there. If I'm building a team, I'm probably not taking Carson Wentz because then I have to think about getting a backup quarterback and to take his place. So Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, and whoever the hell plays quarterback for the Washington. Dwayne Haskins.
No. Before Dwayne Haskins, I think we got to put our boy Colt McCoy above Dwayne Haskins, bro.
Yeah, Colt
He won all
McCoy
the
and
Redskins
Dwayne
last
Haskins.
year.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, we can't even call them the Redskins. They're going to be whatever. I don't even know what they're going to be called in the next coming weeks.
I agree completely with your rankings. And one thing I said that I'm not sure how unpopular it is because of his availability. If we're going back into 2016 draft, I'm probably taking Prescott over Wentz and over Goff just because of the availability. I mean, he's probably on the same level as Goff, or maybe a little bit better. He's not better than Wentz, but availability is the best ability. So
yeah, I think it's crazy how when we go back to the 2016 draft, nobody talks about if the if Jared Goff was the best quarterback in that draft. And every time we talk about the 2016 draft, we always talk about Dak Prescott, who's a 4th round pick, and Carson Wentz. Nobody talks about Jared Goff, who was the number 1 overall pick. Poor guy.
The first
Ryan
time
Gosling,
I saw Goff play, he's a liability. The first time I saw Goff play in 2016, and I didn't even know he was the first overall pick because I wasn't that into football at that point. I just heard the commentator say it. I was like, wow, this dude was the first overall pick. He's trash. That was my first impression of Jared Goff.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling himself.
Did you guys both give your rankings? I had to step away. I have some kid drama going on.
Yeah, I believe we have the same rankings, right?
Same rankings.
I
Yeah.
think you guys will get a kick out of the kid drama. So, I set before we went live. I set the kids up with an iPad, and I know it's getting late, so they're gonna just fall asleep. The older one comes to me and goes, "I'm out. I'm going to bed." But the younger one loves to watch the iPad with his brother.
So is he?
The other one's wandering around the house. Where's your brother? He's sleeping in the other room. So he's very sad right now.
He needs that company, man. He's bored.
Yeah. So my rankings, I'm going to do Carson Wentz. I'm going to be different from you guys. I'm going to go Dak. I'm going to go Jones. I'm going to go Haskins. Actually, sorry, Colt McCoy, then Haskins. Actually, no, sorry. I'm going to go Kyle Allen, then Dwayne Haskins.
I forgot Kyle Allen.
Yeah, dude. Hey, the Redskins have some good backup quarterbacks, man. What do they have? They got Kyle Allen. They got Dwayne Haskins. They did have Colt McCoy. That's what I was talking about. But now we have Colt McCoy. But yeah, man. I mean,
Listen, bro.
Maybe the starting quarterback is Kyle Allen, not Dwayne Haskins. That's a real possibility.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
Alex Smith is not coming back, man. He had that documentary.
He's rehabbing.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he wants to come back, but I saw his documentary, and if you've seen the way his leg still looks, I mean, there ain't no hope for the guy. I hell no. Dude, if my leg looked like that, I'm not walking the rest of my life. I'll be scared to walk. His leg.
Really? What does his leg look like?
His leg is just permanently gonna look like it's
like mangled, bro.
Yeah, like he played.
Like, there's a reason when he got the injury, and there was the whole superstition. It was like the same quarter of the same matchup of the same day, however many years ago. There's a reason the last time. Yeah, there's a reason the last time that injury happened that Theismann never played again. Like and it wasn't just the medical technology at the time. It was just so devastating to the human body.
It's just like he could walk, he could semi walk again. But if you look at all like the where the surgery was, the lacerations and all that stuff, like his leg still looks deformed. Like it looks like a prop. Like it doesn't even look like a leg.
Wow. I haven't seen the documentary, so I'm.
The documentary is uncensored. You could see his whole bone, and oh god, I'm not a very queasy person. I could see that type of stuff. I had to look away from the TV. I can't believe they showed that.
Well, that's no good because I can't believe I'm going to say this live on. What was one of the Alien movies? Not like the older one, but one of the newer ones. Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
So you know the part where it's inside her and it's got to come out, and the machine's got to do all the surgery for her.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
we're literally just crawls out.
I fainted. That's how squeamish I am.
He fainted. Oh,
I fainted.
Yo.
I literally walked out of the room. My buddy goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm gonna faint." So I'm gonna go in the hallway.
I'm gonna faint now. I'm gonna faint.
No, honestly, I am the worst person when it comes to that stuff. What's going on, Sports Critic? What's going on, Alex Sports?
We need to get your live reaction on what. Oh, that's good business.
No, that is not good business.
I only faint when I hit.
I mean, if I did faint live on stream, I guess it'd be like an EDP moment. So,
Moving out with a good one. He says, "Do you see Julian Love being a potential replacement for Baker?" Here's the
No,
thing. I've
stop
seen,
it.
I've seen a
Stop
lot of people saying that. I think people forget that Love is very slow. You need to have at least some speed to play out the outside cornerback. Darnay Holmes, even though I thought Holmes was going to be the best,
Valentine's got a better shot than
I don't
Love.
know. Holmes has a better shot at cornerback number 2.
No,
Speed.
Here's the thing. First of all, with Julian Love, you're right. He is slower, but for some reason, he fits that center field safety role pretty well, which is crazy. Like, he's not very fast. Like, that's the problem we have with Darian Thompson. I'm a Boise State fan, so I know about Darian Thompson. He's a slow guy. He's a slow dude, but he was very smart and knew how to play cover 1. So Julian Love, I think, is actually sounds weird to say, even though we have a new regime, he might be more suited to play some safety. But
I think I actually think they are going to do that. I think they're gonna have 3 safeties.
Three safety. I mentioned that. Yeah, they can have 3 safeties rotate with
Sean
McKinley.
Chandler's still on the team, right?
Who?
Chandler.
Jinx. Yeah, we both said who at the same time.
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure I have that right.
Who?
Let me look. I gotta look it up.
I don't know.
could be wrong,
But yeah, Love is CB number 2. KB, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't have Love at number 2. I have to give a fair shot to Corey Ballentine more than Love.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't see Darnay. I think Darnay Holmes is perfect for the slot rule. I don't think we should ruin that at all.
He's 100% perfect.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
just put him in the slot. Corey Ballentine played well in the preseason, playing outside corner. He's more suited to play outside. Even though he was a
Beal can stay healthy, we have a potential average outside corner, which would be good at number 2.
Who?
Sam Beal. If he could stay healthy, he's a potential average corner.
I don't even consider him on the team, dude.
Here's the thing, though, right? That's why I'm like, if he could.
you guys, I don't know if he's still on the team, but Sean Chandler did exist.
You said Sean Taylor before, so that's
No,
why
I
I
said
was
Sean
like,
Chandler.
Sean Chandler. Yeah, but Sean Chandler is a safety.
Yeah, that's what. Well, he is.
Oh
that's
yeah,
one of the 4 safeties.
Sean Chandler is all right. I think he's coming out of Temple.
Oh, I have it up here. I'll tell you.
I think he's coming out of Temple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he coming. I like Sean Chandler. Especially when we got him, dropped the free agent. He was one of the guys I thought would make the roster, and he did. But every time, oh my God, that I think it was the 2018 season. Yeah, Saquon's rookie year. That 2018 season, I saw Sean Chandler made the worst freaking angles I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't stand it, dude. I like Sean Chandler, but he cannot play in a regular season, man.
That's one thing I love about the players we drafted in the 2020 draft. They all can tackle on the defensive side. I love that.
Sean Chandler made the worst angle I've ever seen.
So, all right. So, who's going to win that second corner position? Because I don't think it's Julian Love. I think, honestly, right now it's between Ballentine, Beal, and Darnay Holmes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ballentine because just by order of elimination, because Darnay Holmes, I think it has the slot corner set. I mean, I think that's his job. And Beal, he's gonna get hurt as soon as he steps on the field. He's just gonna tear something as soon as he gets on the field. So
Beal is the dude from SpongeBob with paper skin and glass bones.
Exactly. Just by process of elimination, I'm just giving it to Ballentine.
What if Sam Beal wins the job outright? What are you going to say?
If he wins the job outright, that's fine. I just
if
want
he wins the job, that means
I want to see him do the job.
If he wins the job, that means he survived practice. I guess that's a step up, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's a step up. So
Roger Tucker's got an interesting question.
Let's see. Thoughts on the possibility of a Dalvin Tomlinson trade. Here's the thing. The fact I wouldn't mind, just because eventually we have to pay Dalvin Tomlinson some money and we have a lot of other holes to fill. But Dalvin Tomlinson is a guy that I actually would entertain signing this guy to some money. He's a run stuffer. He's very disruptive. He's a underrated pass rusher. The fact that he can move the way he can move at his weight and pairing him up with Dexter Lawrence just secures the interior. I think they're a fantastic duo. I don't think we should touch that. But as far as trading him, here's the thing. The NFL does not like run-stuffing defensive tackles anymore. It's just you're not going to get a good value.
You're not going to find a partner for him.
Damon Harrison was at the peak of his career, and we got a 5th-round pick for him. So if you trade up Dalvin Tomlinson, the most you're going to get is probably a late 4th. And you're not going to get much more than that. And I think Dalvin Tomlinson is worth way more than that, and he's very young. So I'm keeping him. He's probably going to get signed to, let's say, I don't know, let's keep it around the ballpark of like $12 million. I think Dalvin Tomlinson will get paid for. I legitimately pay that for Dalvin Tomlinson.
So a question that I actually have for you guys, since it's coming up in 3 days, the date, the deadline to sign these players to a long-term contract is July 15. What's up with Leonard Williams? Do you guys think Well, I think we're not going to sign him to a long-term contract. I think the most realistic thing is that he's going to play out the franchise tag. What's the possibility of rescinding the tag?
I don't know how that works. I've never actually seen that happen in the NFL. I don't know if you guys know. I never.
The only one I remember in recent history was Josh Norman, which was also with Gettleman.
Oh, okay, that's a Gettleman thing as well. But Josh Norman had his own issues with the front office. I don't think that's the same thing with Leonard Williams. I know they had their contract disputes, but Josh Norman and Dave Gettleman did not get along. So that's probably why they did it. But I don't think he's going to rescind it because I think Dave Gettleman, although I like Dave Gettleman, I think he's very full of himself, right? And I think it's a good thing to be a GM. You got to be confident about your decisions. In this case, I think he's going down a very steep rabbit hole that he probably shouldn't be getting into. I think he wants to prove everybody that he was right about trading for Leonard Williams. I think he's totally wrong on that. But I think he's going to keep him. I don't think he's going to trade him or rescind the contract.
All right. Everybody say hi to the Sports Critic.
What's up, Sports Critic? What's going on, buddy?
Say hi to Pumpkin.
What's up, Pumpkin?
What's up, Pumpkin?
No, it's Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. What's up, Pumpkin?
So yeah, I think we'll go 10 more minutes here, unless you guys want to go longer. I'm good with 10 more minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes too. Yeah.
Because I gotta get going here pretty soon. So I'm trying to think here.
One thing I will bring up. Let's talk about the NFC East and the records. There's probably maybe a broken record type thing, but we all can shift our opinions. I mean, what do you guys think about how the NFC East is going to turn out?
OGR. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Apparently, for some reason, whenever I speak, it activates my Google Assistant, and so since my phone is my camera, Google Assistant is activated, and then the app is just gone haywire. And I guess you guys are getting a little view of my setup now as I try to.
Oh God, I'm getting a view of your setup. I mean, you can shift it. You're only going to be on for 10 more days. You can shift it to the camera being off and just have that bubble talking.
It's all right. I think I got it back. But yeah, let's see what's up.
Logic Talker actually has a topic for us.
We just covered that one.
No, thoughts on the New York Jets team going into 2020?
Stinks.
Bro, we covered this on our last or one of our last podcasts. The Jets are literally just an inferior version of the Giants at this point, straight up. They got a lesser version of Daniel Jones, a lesser version of our offensive line, a lesser version of Saquon Barkley, and a lesser version of both Dalvin Thompson and Dexter Lawrence. So they're just a lesser version of the Giants.
One thing I will say, I'm forever happy that we didn't have to spend what was it, a third overall pick on Quinnen Williams. Instead, we got a 17th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. I love that. But as far as the New York Jets goes, Logic Talker, I think they're on the up and up. I just don't think they're anywhere close. I think the Giants are closer, and that's not me being biased. I'm just looking at that from just by front office look of how they're running their teams. I think the Jets are on the up and up, but
the fact that Adam Gase is still the head coach of the Jets lets you know
that's a problem.
The differences in the front offices. Yeah, at least we got rid of our head coach that wasn't doing good.
Yeah. So, all right. So as far as the records go, I'll just take that real quick. Mm-hmm. I think nobody's above 10-6 in this division at all. I laugh at Cowboys fans that say
I think the Cowboys might take, bro. I think
nobody's over 10-6. Tell me who the Cowboys. Where are the Cowboys getting 11 wins from?
I'm sorry.
Pure talent on that roster, but the Cowboys will be the Cowboys.
Pure talent where? Just on offense. What are they going to just blatantly outscore you?
Listen, bro. Name one linebacking core in the league that's better than the starting.
No, I'm not saying that, but they had the same linebacking core last year. What happened?
Oh well, yeah. Last year's Cowboys was
and their secondary. What are they doing with their secondary?
Let's see.
Their best corner in Byron Jones just left. I mean, I like what is it, Chico Awuzie
I'm not sure the Cowboys going to break 10-6, but I think if there's anybody that has a chance, it's going to be them. If we go over their schedule, so they got the Rams week 1. What do you guys think? They win or lose that?
I'll give them a win.
I'll say they win. Yeah.
All right, then they got the Falcons week 2. Is that a win or a loss?
Win.
The Falcons right now are not in a good position. Yeah, I'm going to give them.
They're not in a good position, but you know what? I'm gonna throw a loss in there, either to the Rams and or the Falcons, because everybody's starting off.
Are you sure that your Giants love blinders or not?
No, is Atlanta? Is it at home versus Atlanta or is it at Dallas?
It's at Dallas.
All right, at Dallas. Okay, I'll give them 2-0.
All right.
If it was Atlanta, I'd give them a loss.
This is where they definitely get their first loss. It's going to be at Seattle.
Yep. Bye. See you.
Right? And then they have the Browns at home.
The Browns.
3-1.
3-1, right?
Where's their away games? That's what I want to know.
Wait. And then they have the Giants at home.
That's a win.
That's a win. That's 4-1. Then they have the Cardinals at home.
That's
At home, that's a
Are
win.
you kidding me? You know what? No.
And
Yeah,
They
I'm
have-
putting the
and
boss on.
they're
They're
at
going
the
4-2.
Redskins. And even at the Redskins, that's another win. That's 6-1.
No. Stop. They're taking a loss somewhere in there. I'm sorry.
The Cowboys are the
Stop
Cowboys.
my Giants bias.
Listen, they're definitely gonna pull the Cowboys, but I think that's gonna be in the playoffs. But I do think they have a chance to get 10-6 at least. Like you see how favorable their schedule is at least in the first half.
I actually, call me crazy. I love my Giants, and I hate the Cowboys with everything in me. I hate the Cowboys more than the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know where KB is going with this, but I love the Cowboys roster, bro.
But the Cowboys have one of the best rosters in the NFC right now, and I honestly think they're going to go 12-4.
12. Okay, no, not 12-4. No.
You think about the offense that they have. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Dak Prescott's the best thing in the world, but it's impossible for you to mess up with the offense that you have. You have a supreme running game with. Think about it. An offense that's based on the running game is probably not even their best asset. The wide receivers are absolutely insane.
It's the same wide receivers adding in CeeDee
CeeDee
Lamb, who has a
Yes.
shortened season. I understand he's a
but
beast.
CeeDee Lamb is the third receiver, and he can
Yo,
easily
I
be
will
the number
say-
one for the Giants.
Hey guys, look at Pumpkin's last comment, bro. That's funny, bro.
Past
That's funny.
All right, yeah.
All right. We'll see at the end of the season. There might be a revised season, so that might, it might not come true. But I guarantee you, if not 12-4, they're breaking 10-6.
They're breaking. I think they're breaking 10-6.
I'm gonna give the leader of this division 10-6. The next team, whoever you want to put there, is going to be either 9-7.
Yeah,
I've
I
always
think
had the Giants
the
going
rest-
7-9, and I've had the
Yeah.
Redskins probably going 5-11.
I think the rest is terrible. I think that the
I will
Eagles are
say-
8-8.
Yeah.
The Eagles are 8-8 team. The Giants are a 7-9 team, and the Redskins are 6-10 team.
I will say this. I was gonna say the same thing. I think the Eagles at best this year are 8-8, but
I
who knows?
don't know why is everybody hype about the Eagles? They suck. Look at their roster. It's garbage.
They lost so much depth. It's not even funny. And then their offensive line.
Eagles fans are oblivious to the amount of depth they watch. I
my
listen
God,
to Lord Brunson. I listened to friggin' well, not so much Lord Brunson, but I listened to what's his face there, Philly 500, and I started laughing. It's like, bro, you ever gonna mention your terrible depth? If you suffer any injury on that offensive
It's
line
over.
beyond Brandon Brooks, it's
Guys,
over.
listen, Jalen Rager is the savior. He's the savior. He's gonna fix everybody's problems.
Bro, Jalen Hurts, bro. The two Jalens are gonna take
The two
Philadelphia to
Jalens.
another Super Bowl, bro.
The Jalen duo.
You didn't, guys. Jalen Hurts is the next Michael Vick. Come on,
Oh my god.
Bro, I don't know how I didn't even see that. And
exactly.
and I agree with him. He said 7 wins.
And what they're gonna do is they're gonna bring Chip Kelly back from Oregon.
Here's one thing. I seen this in the from Logic Talker. He says, I'm a Giants fan, but I think Daniel Jones is kind of overrated. Here's the thing. That tells me, Logic Talker, that you're listening to ESPN and not watching film. I'm a film guy. I watch film. I am a religious NFL Game Pass watcher, okay? I watch the 22 film. You can't tell me that Daniel Jones is overrated if you watch the throws this guy makes. I know he has –
It all depends. How much overrated do you think he is? I think he's.
no, it's people –
I think
yeah.
right now he's perfectly rated for being the quarterback that was taken 6th overall.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
I think he's off to a tremendous start. As far as his turnovers, I think that's a huge. I'll always knock Daniel. I'll be his biggest critic when it comes to that. You have to have better ball security. But when it comes to his actual play, when he's able to secure the ball and make the right throws, he is one of the best deep ball throwers. There's some statistic out there that helps that case. I don't know if it's by PFF. I don't like PFF, but if you watch this guy on film, he makes one of the most accurate passes on the run across his body that I've seen. Look at the I always go back to the Tampa Bay game because I just love that game for the Giants. He threw across his body, running to the left, throwing with his right across the body to Darius Slayton with the ball going to the right and going down to Darius Slayton in tight coverage down to like the 5-yard line. I mean, that's one of the best throws I've ever seen. And Daniel Jones kept doing that throughout the season. He's not overrated, in my opinion. Daniel Jones is perfectly rated. He's
perfectly rated for being the sixth overall pick.
Right. He may be overrated by some Giants fans just Giants fans are already saying that he's better than Carson and Dak. I understand how you may think that, but Daniel Jones is well on his way up there and could be the best quarterback in this division when it's all said and done.
And there goes my camera again. I guess let's just get to the loud superset for the last question of the night.
All right, so Loud Super says, what backup QB do y'all think has the best chance of getting a starting job? Nick
Jameis
Folk.
Winston. I say Jameis Winston. Nick Folk is I feel like that's kind of a cop-out answer because I think
It is a cop-out answer, but right now, Trubisky's the starter.
I think Foles is the starter.
Exactly. But I guess other than Foles, it's Winston for me.
I think the front office was just like, hey, yeah, we're not – because before they signed a backup quarterback, they're like, yeah, Mitch is our guy.
Why do you guys think – because are you assuming Drew Brees goes down with injury, or do you think Drew Brees is done?
Oh, as for why I think it's going to be Jameis, I think it's because I think Drew Brees – it might be a mixture, but I think he might just be done.
I think Drew Brees is going to get hurt. I mean, I think
either way, I just have a feeling Winston is going to get in there at some point.
Drew Brees has had multiple hand injuries, if I'm not mistaken, in his past.
He has, yeah.
Yeah, and I think last year he had a hand injury as well, so I don't think he's going to be taking much more of that. But I don't think Drew Brees would be benched at all. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Drew Brees still plays very well, not up to Drew Brees standards, which really tells how great Drew Brees is. But he still puts up good numbers. He still is a very good quarterback. I think Jameis Winston will come in through injury.
MH actually brings up a good one. Even though we like to say it as a joke with Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz goes down almost every year. If he goes down, Jalen Hurts is getting in there. So that's actually a pretty good answer also.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just so
I'm going with Nate Sudfeld until Jalen proves himself.
Yeah. Nate Sudfeld is going to be the savior of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Bro, they're going to erect a trophy. They're winning the Super Bowl. Come on. Don't you listen to Philly 500 and Lord Brunson?
You're completely correct, man. It's funny. EDP, the most ridiculous YouTuber out there, is probably the most realistic Eagles fan out there. And I love EDP. I love his channel.
That's hilarious. He said, Jalen Hurts, what the
he almost broke his teeth. He got the baseball bat ready.
You saw his face? You saw his face? You're like,
hey, what's going on with the whole EDP is a pedophile thing?
I don't know about that.
Here's the thing. EDP, I don't think he meant what he said, but he's just he doesn't think about what he says, obviously, because half the stuff he says is a meme. But he kind of said something about like,
I will say
if you're like he's like if I don't care if you're like 1 year old or like you're 10 years old, if you're coming out there looking like and you got everything hanging out and you know you're gonna get guys looking at you and stuff like that. He never said he would actually pursue a girl. He's just saying like you're asking for attention, all that other stuff. That
The thing is, EDP always is on some weird topic like that. So it was some people trying to get clout.
His live streams are all over the place. It's nothing football related. His live streams.
All right, my guys. Obviously, I think we're going to end it there. What a great topic to really end this stream and cap it off. I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you to Heartstorm Media. Thank you, Kid Blue, and thank you, The Hub. We kind of just threw this together, so it was a blast. Hub, what do you have to say? Obviously,
100%. Thank you so much for bringing me on, man. Once again, you hit me up a couple of days ago. All down for it. I'd love to do it again because it's been a while since we had any type of round table. So I hope the next one comes a bit sooner, whether it's on yours again, mine, Kid Blues, whatever. But it was a blast. And thank you to all of y'all for tuning in.
Yep. Kid Blue?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This was a blast. I had a lot of fun. We all got to express our opinions and rage a little bit, but that was awesome. Love talking to you guys as always. The Hub, I constantly working with every week. He's awesome. And OGR, we go pretty way back, man, especially down there in East Rutherford, man. That was a blast. But best guys to work with on YouTube. Best guys to work with for sure. And I want to thank you guys for being the best audience as well. Had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in for sure. Again, thank you to Kid Blue. Thank you to The Hub. Thank you to Heartstorm Media. By the way, guys, go sub these guys up. Link is in the description box below. Obviously, you can still go view it in video form. But if you guys are not subbed up, which I think most of you are, but regardless, sub these guys up. Great YouTubers. Very good guys to even talk on and off YouTube. I mean, the conversations I've had with The Hub, period, just non-football conversations have been just absolute blast. And same with the Heartstorm Media. I mean, we went into those crazy topics that nobody's really very uncomfortable talking about, and it was just great. But again, guys, it's been OGR, and I'll catch you on the next vid.
Later, guys.